Hello, people. Okay, this is the story. I am going to go back 22 years and tell you a little bit about my life back then. Okay? I was very, very ill. I was ill for the previous couple of years. I was bedridden. I was depressed. I was eating rings around myself and I was losing weight. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't go to work. I was basically on my last legs and dragged myself to the doctor. And my doctor at the time in Dublin checked my symptoms and immediately tested me for leukemia. And he was working from worst case scenario back. And I had a battery of tests over the next couple of months, and did bloods, and bloods were all over the gaff. But he did a specific test on my B12 levels, and my B12 came back. Your B12 level is supposed to be up in between 1100 and 1500, right, of these cells in your body at any one time. And when my B12 level came back, I came back at 55. And at the time, Beaumont Hospital had never recorded somebody with such low B12 at my age. I was 20 at the time. And apparently the panel of doctors who were reviewing my case laughed and said, "How is this girl even alive? There's more active blood in a chicken than there is in this girl." So I was put on an intensive course of B12 vitamin injections. And I did that for a couple of months and I was able to bound over the moon again. I was delighted with my life. But then, as I was having more blood tests done, my bloods were coming back, that I was coming back in the normal range, and my doctor said, "You don't need the injections anymore," and I took his advice and that was fine. Now, unfortunately, in medical school, so I'm told, that there's not much information taught about B12 and the effects of B12, okay? Now, since I'm 20, I literally have been a B12 vigilante. But I came across a movie the other day, and I can tell you something, it shocked me to my core. I would consider myself to be very well versed and very well educated around the whole B12 situation because it has affected me so badly. It was a huge part of my depression and my anxiety and my concentration and my brain fog and my drive and my get up and go and my sleeping pattern, my moods, my eating habits. It literally affected every single area of my life. But because after my diagnosis, my health was mismanaged, I only really got a handle on this properly in the last 3 years, okay? When I got really, really well, which I'm delighted about. And I have a new doctor here in Drogheda. He's amazing, Shane O'Neill. And he has somebody belong to him that he loves that also has the same disease as I do, which is pernicious anemia. It's a dangerous form of anemia and it's severe B12 deficiency. The intrinsic factor in my stomach doesn't work. Therefore, if I was to eat raw B12, I would never be able to absorb it in my body. And the intrinsic factor couldn't dispel it around the rest of my body. So I have to have vitamin injections every month for the rest of my life, and I have them intramuscularly. I'm actually going to go in and get it done now in a second. Neil is going to administer for me. He was taught years ago in Dublin by Dr. Dimitri. So the purpose of me doing this video is this. I know a lot about B12, and when I watched this movie, I literally watched it with, it's a true story, I literally watched it with my mouth open. I was so shocked and horrified that this was actually still happening in this day and age. And that people were being misdiagnosed and misunderstood. And that's another thing. I felt very unheard about my health for about 20 years. And, you know, was claimed as a hypochondriac because I had all these different ailments. Me back, me head, me this, me that, me other. If it wasn't one thing, it was another. But it all literally boiled down to the lack of B12 in my body. So, my purpose of the video is this. I want you to watch this movie. This is going to save somebody's life. this video. When you watch this movie, you have potential to save somebody's life by this. That's how serious this is, okay? When you are B12 deficient, it mimics multiple sclerosis. I've been tested for multiple sclerosis, okay? Sometimes B12 deficiency can mimic Parkinson's disease, okay? It can mimic leukemia. It can mimic lots of things. And another thing, when you're taking folate when you're trying to have a baby or when you are pregnant, folate masks your B12 and comes back that your B12 is in the normal range when it isn't at all. And then when you know you have pernicious anemia and you are as sick as I am, I wasn't allowed to take B12 when I was pregnant because there's a huge correlation between vitamin injections and limb deficiencies. So I had to go through both of my pregnancies and afterwards not being treated. I was literally collapsing on a daily basis and falling apart at the seams and still pushing myself and trying to just live a normal life. So lads, I want you to watch this movie. I want you to share this movie with as many people as you can. I've been in touch with the girl Sarah who wrote the book, Could It Be B12? And I haven't had a response yet, but I'm hoping that I will. And if you know somebody who has these symptoms, I want you to get them to watch this movie and share it with them, because if it's as simple as a B12 injection, you could change the trajectory of their life forever. And if the HSE actually knew what B12 can do for people, our medical system would be under far less pressure than it is right now. And as Neil says, you don't have a bee in your bonnet, you have a hive in your bonnet, Nicola, about this subject. Hi, Emma Pettigrew. I'm delighted that you're going to watch that movie tonight. Get ready to lift your jaw up off the ground, honey, because it is shocking to say the least. So listen, I'll leave it there and I'll stick the link in as soon as I can. Take it easy. Have a lovely evening, lads. Slán.